Hey guys, welcome to Sportitude Running. My name is Josh, and surprise, surprise, it's your review time. And in front of me right here, I have got the Asics Gel Nimbus 25, and we've got the Asics Gel Nimbus 24. This is a comparative review. We're going to talk about this new shoe, profile it, the foot type, who's it for, similar shoes in the market, and compare it to where all the changes have occurred from the 24. Pretty exciting review. It's going to be a bit of a long one, so go make yourself a cup of tea, settle in, and let's get stuck in. What foot type is the Nimbus 25 targeting? Well, for 2.5 decades now, it has been talking to that neutral foot type. Now, if you're unsure if you are a neutral foot type or what a neutral foot type looks like, hit the link above and it'll take you through to a video we have done previously. However, if you happen to be a mild overpronator or a mild supinator and you land in the right areas and looking for something cushioned, the 25 will be absolutely fine for you. The other thing too is it hasn't changed in regards to its category positioning in the market. It is still a high mileage shoe with a lot of cushioning underneath the foot. So still talking to that runner that's looking to spend plenty of time out in the road and either looking really for that cushioned, easy day shoe or that shoe that just adds into their rotation for all about protecting the body, getting as much cushioning and support underneath your body as you possibly can. Let's talk all things upper first. So side by side, you can see the shape of this shoe is quite different from 25 to 24. However, Asics have used some pretty similar technologies with regards to executing the upper. It is an engineered mesh, so therefore they have got a really dialed in forefoot construction, same as what they had last year. Pretty similar fit and feel with regards to the softness of the mesh. Nothing really has changed in the overall weight. However, the conformed fit has altered ever so slightly. I want to talk about one thing that I've found made the Nimbus 24 a fantastic shoe, and that was the tongue. It had a really, really stretchy, knitted construction, and the gusseted engineering was actually pretty broad across most of the saddle, or most of your arch of your foot, from the lateral to the medial side. The great thing is Asics knew that was a successful part of that shoe and they've rolled it over into the 25. They've used the exact same tongue technology, so the same gusseted construction in the 25 as they did with the 24. However, the volume of the forefoot is a little bit more generous in the 25 from comparison to 24, so therefore a little bit more wriggle room. And as you come back, you can see even to the naked eye there is quite a change with the heel counter. The plastic internal heel counter is the exact same height. It must be said, because that's a really important feature of an upper. It keeps that heel nice and stable, nice and locked in, so we don't get too much movement on that first entry. However, you can see the height of the collar comes up quite a bit with this little pull tab. Memory foam is on offer around the internal heel collar. That's more there for that comfort aspect, to make sure that you've got a nice soft touch and feel around the back of your ankle and your heel. Pretty similar to what we had last year. However, they've just executed it slightly differently. Same material, same amount of memory foam, but we just have a little higher collar at the back through here, and almost like an Achilles flare with this pull tab. What you will find is that'll just lean in a little bit more towards the back of your Achilles insertion to your heel, providing a nice, comfortable, stable fit around the back of your foot. Let's talk all things outsole next. So, looking at the bottom of the two, you can see straight away there is a lot of difference going on through here. However, I'll talk about the technology first up. Asics are still using their AHAR rubber, which is a really hard compound, nice and durable, and to be honest, they needed to use it in the 25 because there's a lot of change in the midsole, which we'll get to in 2 ticks. But you can see through here, to the naked eye, in the 24s over here on my right, your left, you can see there is a lot of flex screws for the forefoot, therefore providing a nice flexible exit with regards to the outsole configuration. And through the back part of the heel part of me, you can see there's that AHAR plus rubber, but there's quite a gap in the mid part of the shoe through here. Now, that's just exposed flight foam blast plus technology. Now, again, we didn't see too much concern or areas of concern, pardon me, with the Nimbus 24 and its wear. Yeah, of course, it's going to wear down over time. That's natural. All shoes do wear out eventually, but it wasn't alarming for them to consider maybe filling in the walls too much around the outsole configuration. However, when you're looking at the 25 through here, there is quite a bit of change with regards to the setup. The lateral and medial side of the heel through here, we've got that AHAR border around the back half of the shoe through here. However, we've filled out the outsole a lot more through the front half. Now, there's no flex grooves, as we touched on a minute ago, and that's more due to the fact of the softness of the midsole. So if you had those flex grooves on this midsole, the shoe itself will be very unstable through the forefoot. So they have filled out that border, but you can see there's some small little circle dimples through the front half of this shoe through here. Couple of things, that reduces the weight, but it also does allow the midsole to push through that outsole to provide an element of flexibility through the forefoot as you toe off. All in all, I like what they've done with this outsole. It's going to be durable, it's going to protect the asset, the midsole, and it's certainly a little bit broader as well. It's a bit more surface area underneath the overall fit of your foot as well. Let's jump to the midsole part of this review, and like most shoes, this is where most of the fun part of the conversation comes to the forefront. Now, with the Nimbus 25, the biggest change is more around the technologies used. Now, it's not a new technology. They're using Flight Foam Blast Plus as their overall cushioned element. However, it's more due to what they have taken out and how they have positioned the offset. Talking all things statistics first, we have a 41.5 millimeter heel in the men's and a 33.5 millimeter forefoot stack for that variance of 8 millimeters. Ladies is 40.5 and 32.5. So the men's is 1 mil higher. However, statistically, big change from where we came from with 24. The stack height in the 24 was different men's and women's. So we had a 10 mil offset from the men's and we have a 13 millimeter offset in the women's last year in the 24. That was a pretty consistent theme that Asics have been rolling for probably a decade now. More looking at your Nimbus and your Kayanos. They did have a variance with their offsets to be gender specific. However, they've kind of thrown that up, torn that piece of paper up, scrunched it and thrown out the window and reverted back to a consistent stack height and consistent drop for both men's and women's. So touching on it again, 8 millimeter offset heel to toe. And again, the reason they've gone 8 mil, not 10 mil, because originally the prototype number 1, they had a 10 mil offset. Feedback was the shoe bottomed out too quickly through the forefoot. So therefore, by lifting up the forefoot by a couple of millimeters, having that offset being 8 mil, it provided a more consistent performing midsole from the back half right through to the front half. As we touched on as well in the intro of this midsole part of the review, it's more about what they have taken out. There is no forefoot gel on offer with the 25. There was a twist gel in position under the first metatarsal on the 24s. Don't be alarmed, the shoe is still soft, it's still plush, it's just taking out that component has allowed the shoe to be a little bit more compliant through the forefoot. There's no, intricacies with regards to where that gel is positioned. I mean, it's been a pretty big thing for Asics over a number of years now where they have positioned that gel. I like the fact they've taken it out of the forefoot of the 25 because you're going to get a more consistent feel through the forefoot for the majority of runners this shoe is targeting. The other thing too is you may have noticed this at home that there is no exposed gel on offer. So cosmetically, you can't see the gel positioning in the 25 in comparison to the 24. Asics, again, for a number of years have liked to showcase the fact they have got gel technology in their running shoes. It's probably more to stand out on the walls against its other competitors and for them to call out their intellectual property in regards to what they do for cushioning. The gel itself is positioned very strategically on the lateral part of this shoe itself, encapsulated inside that Flight Foam Blast Plus technology. Therefore, it's positioned, when I say laterally, to cradle that foot on that first entry point for your heel strikers. I think it's great tucking it inside this midsole. Let the foam be the biggest part or the biggest asset of this shoe. Let it do its performance. Flight Foam Blast Flight Foam Blast Plus, is a soft cushioning system. It's nice and responsive through the forefoot, and just remembering this shoe here is targeting someone who's spending a lot of time out on the road. So you want a consistent feel on your foot from your first K right through to your last, and not only that, from your first K right through to the last kilometre of the shoe when it decides to retire. So for me, the shoe itself is a big upgrade in regards to the midsole technology, change in stack being a little bit higher, change in drop, and taking out that components with regards to the gel and positioning it slightly differently within the midsole. It performs very, very well. Okay guys, so we're going through all the engineering changes from 24 to 25. Now it's time to hear my subjective opinion on this shoe. Now, when we got this shoe around 12 weeks ago, a couple of our team members here happened to be a size 9, so we did circulate this shoe around for a few weeks. And the general feedback was, before you even put it on a foot, you got to sit there and go, okay, why the big change? I mean, we've gone from 24 to 25, and that's a question we ask ourselves straight away. What is this brand trying to achieve by doing this? And not saying this is a conversation we're having just with Asics. We do that with every single brand and every single model comes in. When there is a significant change, we need to understand the why. We talk to the team at Asics, we get their feedback, their knowledge, and then obviously we circulate this amongst ourselves. So looking at the 25 and what we've talked about, increased stack height and lower drop. So therefore, what we're finding is this shoe is going to be a lot softer on the foot. So therefore, they're probably talking to a lot more runners out there who are searching for a more, you could say, plusher ride underneath the foot than what you would have experienced in 24. Now, if you happen to be a 24 lover and you really like that shoe, I'm still going to say you can confidently transition over to the 25. I don't think there's enough change there to suggest that you won't enjoy it. However, if you do happen to come in store, try it on, you think, nah, this is not quite right for me, what Asics have done with the Gel Cumulus will talk to you specifically. If you come from 24 and you really, really like that shoe, I reckon you might find the Cumulus to be a pretty compliant shoe for you out there. So we'll get that review done shortly. But when we're talking about this shoe, as I touched on, higher stack height, lower drop, really, really conform fit up top. This shoe here is going to have a lot more runners jumping into it from other brands. It's talking to a broader community. So when we go back to why a brand changes, they're trying to appease the previous runners who've used their brand or have run in their previous shoe, but they're also trying to target a few more runners out there. No surprises, it is a business and they're trying to get more people into the Gel Nimbus who have, one, used it before and liked it, but also two, what are they not doing that other brands are? And the Nimbus 25, lighter, softer, and a higher stack height, well, hey, that's where the industry is right now. We're seeing a lot of increases in those areas, and I think the Nimbus 25 is going to talk straight to that running community. Okay, guys, similar shoes to the Nimbus 25. Well, first things first, I do reckon this shoe does sit kind of on its own. There's no real direct replica from another brand. However, there's some similar characteristics in this shoe that you will see in other models and other brands on the market currently. So if you've been running in a 1080 version 12 from New Balance, you've been using a Saucony Triumph 20, and I'd probably even throw in the Nike Invincible as well as a pretty similar shoe in regards to the overall stack height. All of them have different variances with how their midsole performs, but it's more about the stack, the cushioning, and the overall riding experience. If you've used those three previously and you want to maybe try something a little bit different, I'd certainly suggest giving the 25 a go. Best case, if you can roll yourself into a specialty running store like us here at Sportitude Running, have a gait analysis, have a conversation with the team and profile yourself inside this shoe. Make sure it's got the right support, right amount of cushioning, and it's going to do everything you expect and more out the road. I suggest doing that for sure. Okay, Nimbus 25. For me, it is a massive thumbs up. I have really enjoyed running in this shoe. I've enjoyed having conversations with our other team members in and around what they have done. Look, if you're a Nimbus lover and you've been wearing them for ever and a day and you may have jumped ship a couple of years ago because you had tried something a little bit lighter, a little bit softer, maybe a higher stack height from other brands, because as I touched on earlier, that is kind of where the industry has sort of trended in the last few years, I'd say give it a go. Come back, have a conversation about the Nimbus 25 because it is by all means a very comfortable, very compliant, very good shoe in that high mileage neutral category, and I'd certainly suggest you would enjoy it. Now, over 25 years, I say this in most of my reviews when brands have had a shoe or a franchise that existed for more than a decade, there is always going to be some hits and misses in that time. And for me, I love the progression with Nimbus 25. I mean, I've been fitting them now since the Nimbus 8, actually. That's when I first started in this industry, and the Nimbus 8 was that was my first Asics Gel Nimbus that I fitted. And over the journey and seeing where those shoes have come from, the trends in the market, look, Asics have always stuck to their guns. They've always provided a really good, stable cushion shoe, and in respect to what the industries were doing with midsole technologies and upper technologies, Asics have always been at that forefront. However, the last few years, they've probably maybe been a little bit safe in regards to how they have engineered their Nimbuses. Now, 24, great shoe, not denying that, but where other brands were trending and what the expectations of you, the running community out there, and what you wanted from your shoes, I really, really like what they've done with the 25. They've listened, they've done their research, and they really did put this shoe through a lot of testing, a lot of field research to come with this end model, the Nimbus 25. So guys, if you've got any questions about this shoe, or you have been a Nimbus lover previously, let us know your favorite Nimbus in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit the red button, stay notified, and we will keep doing these shoe reviews for you, the running community out there. And until next time, I'd like to say stay safe, be kind to one another, happy running, smash those goals in 2023, and we'll see you out on the road. Take care.